Thanks for tuning into the Carrie Hannah podcast. Here's your host, Bryce and Kevin.
And Agent Espo.
Nice.
Welcome back to the Carrie Handle podcast. My name is Bryce, and with me, as always, is Kevin. We haven't done this in a while, so give us just a little bit of leeway. How are you, Kevin?
I'm well. I'm well. And you, Bryce, over yonder?
I'm doing quite well. Kevin, I believe we have something of an anomaly in our midst. Do we have a guest? We were talking about Gray Zone before I hit record, so anomaly seems
that's more stalker.
Seems appropriate.
Stalker's more.
Well, yeah, but they. All right, we're in the weeds already. We have Agent Espo. Say hi.
Happy to be here, guys.
So, as our first inaugural, our first actual. Yeah, shut up. We're rolling with it. This is the word choice I'm going with.
Our real person. It's a real person.
We have a real person. There's a third. There's somebody else that listens and is like, you know what? These two idiots, we're gonna hang out with them. Yep.
Validates our podcast.
I think it's gonna be a banger episode. All right.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, that's the intro right there. Right. We're just, you know what? We could hit end right now, and we got it, boys.
For sure. Everyone's hooked already, I'm sure.
I'm fucking saying, man. So, Agent Espo is somebody that I've been following on YouTube for a while, at least anyway. And he ended up, I guess. How did you find me? Anyway, did I followed you? I think, and then you followed back.
I think you followed me on Instagram first. I think I'd made it was either like a Black Hawk Down video or like a Heat video, and I think that you had followed me after one of those, and then
that's a quick way to my heart. Is the Heat? Have you seen our artwork then?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, Heat might be something I'm a fan of.
Yeah, just a little bit.
If the 10 people that listen to our podcast, if they don't aren't familiar
12.
with you,
12.
12, excuse me. He is a video game and influences in firearms, which seems right up our alley. So we figured we needed to get him on and talk to him about guns and video games.
Yay, games!
So, just kind of saying as an introduction, tell the people who you are and kind of what got you into YouTube.
So essentially, I am a small YouTuber. I got about 4,000, almost 5,000 subs now, and I, grew up playing. Bryce and Kevin and I played a lot of the same games growing up, and that kind of influenced us, I think, to become the gun owners we are today. And essentially, I got my first AR like in 2019 or so, and I cited a lot of video games for like my inspiration, and I wanted to I was watching like a lot of like GunTube at the time, and I wanted to kind of make the content that I wanted to see, which I feel is real corny because like every YouTuber says that. They're always like,
yep.
I just want to make the content that I want to see or whatever. I don't think I've made it to that point yet because I'm trying to improve my, my videos and whatnot. But I want to do stuff like, the Battlefield 3 M16A3 video that I had. I want to do some of kind of those gun builds from games that we all kind of played and we all remember, but I haven't really seen other people do. So that was kind of a big inspiration for me, and to try and take the whole gun YouTube thing in a different direction, and kind of, speak to my generation. And I think my age group's 25 to 34. And a lot of us played this very similar games. And I don't know, my content's starting to move more towards that kind of niche. I think I finally found my niche with those kind of guns from video games and whatnot. So it started off kind of like a hobby. I bought some land and decided I always wanted to start a YouTube channel. Obviously, way back, I think in 2021 is when I kind of set my heart on it. And I lived in Arizona at the time, and I was dreaming of building this M16A3 and doing a Battlefield 3 video and everything on it. And a few years later, I finally was able to actually make that. So it's just been kind of a cool experience to have this vision for so long and then to kind of put it into motion. And it's really just right now it's kind of a fun hobby that's starting to pay me back a little bit. But I'm just trying to, have fun on YouTube pretty much and get a little piece of the pie, I guess.
Well, so I actually, The first time I had seen you before Instagram, I actually saw your what was it called? It was your Black Ops firearms expert video
Yeah.
because I was I so that was you used what did you use? You used the that British guy.
Yeah,
What
what's his name? Keeper of firearms and
Royal
artillery. Yeah,
Armories?
yeah.
Oh yeah,
So
that guy.
and I had clicked on him and I didn't but this was before I knew you were on Instagram. And I had clicked on it and then the video started playing and I'm like, wait a second.
Uh,
That's not an uppity man.
That's
What
not
the
a
hell
British
is
man at all.
this? He's not British. He's
Who is this
potentially
imposter?
ethnic. I don't know who this is.
Potentially ethnic. Wow.
Well, so it was a different spin because it was stuff that I actually wanted to look or wanted to watch because you see people and you see like the bigger influencers and they talk about like the blood diamond rifles and like those really like I don't know
Iconic weapons
iconic
that
builds and but it's like everybody making the same thing over and over and over
Mhm.
and then you have you who comes out and it's a video about like the budget the PSA build with a duct tape fucking rifle or a light on the end of it or the
Yeah.
Battlefield 3 like those deep cuts where it's like oh shit yeah that I like that a lot. It's like core memory stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Core memories right there.
And so it was and my favorite would have been the Modern Warfare 2 because I mean that's just an easy, you know,
Yeah,
right
for
to the
sure. I
feels
mean,
kind of thing.
pretty much everybody loves Modern Warfare 2, honestly. Like if you're older than
Yes.
like 18 years old or what I'm trying to think like what's the youngest somebody would have been? Probably like in their early 20s. Like you probably played Modern Warfare 2 and I mean, it's like probably one of your favorite games.
I would agree with it. So I might be in the rare minority here. I didn't actually like Modern Warfare 3 very much, which is
Really?
wild. And
Wow.
I didn't like Modern Warfare 3 and I didn't like Halo 3, but I liked Halo 2 and I
whoa,
liked Modern
whoa,
Warfare 2.
Whoa.
Did I
Oh
hear
yeah.
that right? Did you say
I'm
he
willing
did not
I'm
like
willing to
leaving.
die on this
Halo
hill.
3? Who is
I
this?
went back to it and the brutes were fine, but the spirit was Halo 2. That's I'm not the game nerd here, okay?
I
Leave me
think
alone.
1, 2,
can
and
respect it, though.
3. After 3, it kind of got wonky.
I can
Yeah,
respect
I mean,
Halo 2.
well, so I kind of look at the Halo series kind of like a look like Star Wars, where it's like, okay, well, like 1, 2, and 3, I didn't like them when they came out because Jar Jar and all that nonsense. But then now we have the new trilogy, and we're like, oh, I didn't know how good I had it. So like, I look
Yes,
at
for sure.
Modern Warfare 3, and I look at Halo 3, and I'm like, oh, those are good.
Yep.
They're not as bad as they could have been. They're so much
ODST was
better.
probably like the weakest of that early. Halo Reach was pretty good, but like I think when ODST came out, to me that was kind of like a weaker one because you had Halo 3 before it. The only good reason I think ODST, I remember getting like that second disc where you got like Forge World and like all the assets that like I didn't have with Halo 3 for whatever reason. Like I don't know if there was like a DLC or something.
Yeah.
So that was like my main driving point for like buying ODST, but I thought that was kind of like a weaker.
Well, ODST felt like a knee jerk to like Battlefield and Call of Duty, where they were like, "Well, we need a tactical shooter," and it's like, but why would you not want to be a fucking Spartan?
I mean,
like, why would you not want to be like man meat? Why would you just want to be a human when you could be like literal
I need to
Spartan
take health
god?
packs? What is this?
What is this? Healing? Gross. Ew.
Brings me back
So-
to the days of playing Xbox in person.
All right, so we're gonna jump around a little bit. We kind of talked about this before the episode, but so in terms of video game influences, I think everybody's got that rifle that they think of like that goated, like this is what if I could ever afford it, what would it be? What video game rifle do you absolutely need?
That's a tough one.
Right.
Well, so the M16A3 from Battlefield was kind of that gun for me for a while, which it's not crazy to build. I mean, it's essentially just an A4 CAC rail. I mean, there's really nothing crazy going on with it, but that was kind of like my favorite rifle from a video game was Battlefield 3's M16. But if I'd taken that aside, I would probably say the second most iconic gun for me that I wish I could own would be a full auto, probably like a COD 4 MP5 with the suppressor, the integral suppressor, and the collapsible stock. That would probably be my go-to.
Oh, like an SD.
Yeah, I'm MP5 SD.
Okay.
Yes.
And
think that would be
Kevin,
G36C.
It's a good choice.
really? All right.
Full auto,
Yeah, that's
full auto.
pretty. So I actually, believe it or not, I had a tattoo planned based on. I don't know if you guys know about the lineage of the G36 with NASA. Anybody? No.
I'm not
All
familiar.
right. So
no.
NASA actually, some of their security forces, I believe, they contracted. They have their own specific serial range and kitted out G36Ks with Knights armament rails and things like that. And so their serial range, I was actually going to get a tattoo of the HK serial number, and then with that serial range with my son's birthday. But that's one of my dream guns. But like an actual dream gun was the first video game I ever played before I realized this was a thing. Was the MP5 10mm from from the first Rainbow Six PC game. I think we talked about that
We did, yeah.
when
Yeah, I was saying-
our first video call or
On,
our first call.
You were saying
yeah.
how on PC there was no like gun model, but
Yep.
on console there was. So like
I got
saw
gypped.
everything. Yeah, I know. I don't even know
So
because I went to go. We talked about this, of course, off camera, but or off video. But I wanted to play Rainbow Six on the PC after I got one, and I realized I'm like, well, this looks lame. Like, there's no gun. Like, that's not how it was on the PS or PS1 back in the day. But I thought that was weird.
Yeah, I used to have to sneak down in the middle, or not in the middle, but like early Saturday morning and boot it up on my dad's. Like when you boot it up, like the whole PC made a noise, and it was like this whole, like it sounded like a rocket ship taking off, because this was like the 90s. But I was like, yeah, I'm playing this awesome video game, and then I think that game has permadeath for operators. So I'm pretty sure it has permadeath, and you don't realize that. And as a boy, you're like, oh, that guy's gone. I can't get him back. It's traumatizing. You're like, oh shit.
You had like the green, the red. It was like the second one was the red, and then like blue or something.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
And they had like a little the health bar was a I don't know what you call it. I forget. I'm slipping here, but you would see their health. Like they would flatline basically if they were killed or whatever.
Yeah. The EKG rhythm.
Yeah.
They had the heartbeats and the EKG, right?
Yep.
Kevin, EKG. What? Say words. Say smart medical words.
Electrocardiogram.
Thank you. That intelligent thing.
For the people at
yeah,
home,
that dude, as a like a however old, like a very young boy, when you see that flat line, you're like, oh shit. Oh no.
He's gone forever.
They're all dead. You round the corner and you just get waxed by some random NPC, and it's like, well, that was fun.
I never played Rainbow Six per se.
Excuse me?
I did. Well, later on I played Rainbow Six, but my first one was Ghost Recon on the Xbox.
Solid choice.
So I want to say my most influential before like Call of Duty, before I was playing any of like the, I would say more serious games, was Desert Storm, and I think that's the one where you can command the team.
Conflict Desert Storm.
That was the MP5 in that game. I remember was like incredibly broken because it had like no recoil, and definitely had way too much range. Yes, it was. And then I got stuck on the mission where you're in the middle of the town, and it's like you're trying to like destroy the tanks. And I don't think I ever beat that game because I couldn't get past that one mission. I was like, "Ah, fuck this."
I remember I beat it.
Like all my guys kept dying. I'm like, I can't do it.
I beat it in one day because they had to, because my dad only rented it for one day for $5.
That was, I think, the first, because that was rated teen, and that was like the only thing I could like squeak out of my dad until ironically our topic that has taken 16 minutes to get to the topic of the video. That's fine. That's good.
What's the topic?
The topic is Black Ops.
Oh yes.
The topic is Black Ops. No. We're not done with. Okay. Yeah. No. That's fine. We'll talk about Desert Storm. It's okay. I'm sorry.
No.
Yeah. Why are you trying to get away from the Desert Storm?
What? I was dovetailing into another topic. I think that's okay.
You're going back in time.
I just want to say, like, My brother, he is 7 years younger than me, and we would play Desert Storm split screen. But if you guys remember that first mission where you're Bradley and you're running through, then you get dropped off solo and you got to go save Foley.
Mhm.
And my brother would
Yes.
just be sitting in the jail cell with his blue T-shirt because you're just sitting there watching like an Iraqi just pace back and forth,
Yeah.
and like my brother's like 7 years old, or he's probably younger than that, honestly,
Just
playing,
waiting.
and he's just waiting for me to like run through the entire map. That was such a cool game, man.
I love that they
Yeah.
made you. They were like, you know what? You get to just sit here.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's not a boot screen. It's nothing. You're just sitting and waiting. That's it. And then if you
Yep.
fail, you're boned. Like you got to do it again. And it's like, well, it's just hanging out.
Mhm.
Dude, that game, split screen. Do they do split screen? That's not like a thing, right?
Uh,
Yeah.
I don't know anymore,
mean,
honestly.
I think you.
I just
can
remember
do
having
it.
split screen parties with the
Call of
boys.
Duty still
Yeah.
does it.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Split.
nobody-
So for me, it was PS1 split screen with Tekken. Just getting just getting my shit pushed in by a
Oh.
bunch of older dudes, like because I used to take Taekwondo when I was younger, and that's basically was the daycare that my parents would dump me off at the end of school, and it was just like we'd squirrel off in the back, and then everybody would be playing Tekken when we definitely should have been doing exercises, and that's how we figured out who had to do push-ups or who had to do the miles. It was like, all right, who lost, and then you got to go. It's like, oh, fuck.
Nice. I remember
PS1
Tekken
with
3.
Tekken, man.
Remember Paul?
But oh god, I remember not liking that video game, but also loving it because it was just insanely difficult because my stupid fingers couldn't figure out what controls to do. Because I didn't have a console until way later in life. So my first console was a game or console air quotes. My first gaming thing was like a Game Boy Advance with Mario World 3 or something like that.
Oh yeah.
And then I got a PlayStation 2, and then I got an Xbox with Halo 2. So,
yeah.
but I played Halo 1 split screen because that's your baptism by fire is Halo 1.
Of course, Combat Evolved.
Oh yeah.
Yes. But so now that we're 19 minutes in, Black Ops. Let's go to Black Ops, a game that Kevin doesn't know as well as I do. So.
Still one of the greatest Call of Duties ever.
So we were talking before or after I hit record. I'm unclear. Either way, it's my favorite Call of Duty. One of my favorite video games of all time. And the most memorable thing about that video game for me was not the twist in the game. Spoiler alert, we're probably going to talk about it. If you haven't played it by now, I don't know what to tell you.
In the game?
14-year-old game.
Yeah, if you haven't figured that out, I don't know what to tell you. But the twist was not the issue. The issue was I was at a robotics camp, and one of my friends at the robotics camp decided he would tell me that Reznov, or was it Reznov?
Yeah, it was
his name?
Reznov. Yeah,
Reznov is a ghost the whole time.
What?
Before I beat the game, he told me. He told me this
So
before
rough.
I beat it, and I'm like, bro, are you
really?
So the whole dude, ruined it. At least he didn't tell me about the numbers or anything like that, which is cool. But like, come on, man, you can't be telling me
The Reznov thing is
Reznov.
arguably bigger than the numbers, though. Like, we kind of expect there to be a big
Arguably.
spectacle at the end where it's like, yeah, we know we're going to kill the Russian bad guys, whatever.
Right.
Not that big of a deal. But, like, that is the big twist, is, like, the Reznov. Like, I feel like they wrote that story all around that, and they're like, all right, we just need to finish this up with kill the bad guy at the end. But, like, that was
So
the big
the
thing.
one thing I will give him, and if all I have here is to say that he didn't completely ruin it, was when he becomes a ghost. But I mean, it's kind of obvious. Like in hindsight, when you play the escape mission, it's like obviously he dies. But like,
Is it the one?
it's like
Yeah.
The squad mates, like, don't acknowledge him at all, like, when you meet up with them in
Yeah.
Way City and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Where like
and,
you're
like-
talking to him, and they're like, "Who are you talking to?"
You get that guy in the tunnel killed. He's like, he turns around. He's like,
Yep.
what are you? He's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing?
And then he just gets
Right.
stabbed by the. Yep. Such a good
Dude, that
game, man.
was- Also, the most so when I lived back in Maryland, because obviously guns no bueno there, I built a gas blowback airsoft commando. Even
Really?
had like the surplus sling that I wrapped around it, and that I almost mentioned that when I said iconic rifles, but 10mm MP5, from
Yep.
Rainbow. I keep saying Ghost Recon. Rainbow Six is
Ghost Recon.
still
Ghost Recon.
that's still my video game gun. I know it's not as iconic as like the folding front sight Modern Warfare 2 M4 or
Yeah.
M4A1 or whatever, but
Essentially an
you know.
airsoft M4.
Yeah. But the commando was always fun. I always really liked that in Call of Duty they always had to like cram a red dot in there. It's like they had
Yeah.
red dots. It's like what?
Yeah.
From how? It's like
When I was
Red
younger,
dot.
they had
like,
starlight scopes maybe, but like
Yeah.
what?
well, they had a
What the
starlight
hell?
they had one in Black Ops 1. It was the IR scope. I want to say it was a starlight, but it was obviously mounted right on the flat top. So
Right, yeah. Which
and
also
I mean,
not a thing, but you
the
know,
commando
whatever.
itself is very anachronistic for. I mean, it's got a Troy rear sight and it's got
Yep.
it's a flat top, but there's no Picatinny. I know this because
Right.
spoiler alert, I'm kind of working on a little maybe let's just say a commando, right, from Black Ops. I do a little video
The
here
most
in the future.
iconic rifle.
So I've been doing
Interesting.
for real. So I've been doing some research on it, and it's like crazy how like back in the day I didn't even really think about it that much. I mean, I was 12 years old when the game came out, so as a 12-year-old you don't really think about it. I guess I mean I didn't, and I was like, oh, this is cool. Like I was like maybe red dots didn't exist in the Vietnam War, but you know everything else seems like it's come to find out. You know the MP5K didn't exist until like the 70s. Like the AK-74 is clearly in the name, like not going to be Vietnam, correct, but. Yeah, I'm working on a little commando clone, and I've just been like researching all those guns and like watching the old, playthroughs of that game and stuff, and it's just brought back a lot of memories and stuff. And I truly believe that like older games were better than they are now. Like I don't think that's a nostalgia thing. I actually
Well,
believe
that's
that
because when they released them, they were complete.
yes,
And,
Yeah.
and
the
they cared about the
storylines
people.
I think the storylines were better. I don't know. I
Well,
feel
do
like
we
there was more
really
effort.
have legitimate like heartfelt campaigns anymore, or are they just? I mean,
Not from Call of Duty.
I don't.
They're hard pressed to find.
Yeah, I don't think we have campaigns anymore because I remembered Modern Warfare 2, I know Modern Warfare 3. I've talked all that shit, but Modern Warfare 3, I mean, capped off the story, but like they actually had stories, and I haven't changed much. I don't like playing online. Kevin can attest to this, unless I have my person.
He doesn't.
I hate people. I don't like people. I don't people. I'm allergic. My wife can attest to it. Everybody can attest to this. But unless I have a person to go with me, I can't do it. So like
He
I
needs a helper.
yeah, I need like a chaperone. I can't be trusted by myself.
Hey, those COD lobbies can get rough, all right? Especially now with the
well,
skill-based
yeah.
matchmaking.
Oh, yeah.
I grew up on World of War lobbies, so I have been baptized in fire. Okay,
Oh,
so
yeah.
I know of the world. I would go over to my buddy's house across the street and play World of War and just the most hateful things you've ever heard in your life.
Oh, yeah.
Things that would
As
put you in jail
millennials,
today.
we've heard some terrible things, some just hate crimes of words some of these children were speaking. It's like,
Oh,
what
yeah.
are you saying? Where is your mother?
I learned a lot of
It's
new
like
words, right, back in the day.
A
Let's just say
lot
that.
of new words. Oh my
Yeah.
god. But god damn it, World of War. What a
What a
fucking
good
goat
game.
of a game. Oh my
Diablo.
god.
What a good
Ooh,
game.
you know what?
was,
I might. Ooh,
What? You're gonna pivot to World of War discussion instead of Black Ops?
shit. No, I'm not going to do that, but I forgot how good World of War was.
You play on veteran
Such a
difficulty,
good-
and it's just grenade spam all
Oh
day.
god. Break cover, boom, dead. God damn it.
Yeah, you're in cover. Like the grenades just find you. They just
Dude, I know. It doesn't matter. Like there's no indication. It's just boom on the ground. All right, red screen. Good. Dead. Great.
the
Love
grittiness
it.
that game captured, like that. They set the tone so early when you're on
Yeah.
making a toll, and you're like the guy behind you
Especially
getting
like the trenches,
tortured.
bro. Like
Oh yeah.
I mean, you're in the trenches, and it's just every corner. It's like, oh, well, my head's on my ground.
Yep.
That sucks. Bummer. Hard pass. All right, moving on.
I was having a kind of an argument on Twitter. I'm not gonna call it X because it's Twitter, all right? I'm like a late,
old.
like a real early. Yeah, I'm old now, right? So I'm gonna call
You're
it Twitter.
That's
But
okay.
somebody was like, the COD campaigns have gotten more realistic, not less realistic, and I'm like, I don't know World at
What?
War, like, have you played World at War? And they're like, well, there's that scene, there's that part on Peleliu with the ray gun and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, stuff like that was like fun Easter eggs. But now, like, I mean, obviously, you guys have seen the skins for Modern Warfare 3, and I mean, it's been this way for probably 5 years now, where it's just getting more and more ridiculous. World at War definitely had its own kind of gritty. It was a
Feel
different
to
kind of
it.
messaging. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it wasn't like, I don't want to say it's realistic because it was always an arcade shooter, but
Right.
it was. It
It
took
was on
itself,
rails. You're going one way.
yeah, but it had a element of grittiness to it that the later Call of Duties just wouldn't have anymore.
Well,
See, and that's why I like Black Ops though, because it was
Mm.
that was a spirited campaign. I mean, there was a lot of heart in that.
Yeah,
I mean, there was. I don't think that has been replicated since. Personally, that
No.
I will die on this hill. That is my favorite Call of Duty. I really, that is my favorite Call of Duty.
Black Ops.
Never mind my grumpy autistic firearms knowledge, where none of that was correct or accurate. But
right.
either way, it was just a lot of heart in the characters, and the missions were insanely difficult without being impossible. It didn't feel like somebody just arbitrarily increased like enemies' health, and it felt like it was actually balanced in a way where your skill, like if you had been playing the game enough, you could. I feel like a lot of difficulty in video games is kind of arbitrary. Like there's no real.
Yeah, they just scale it up.
Yep.
Yeah,
exactly.
but it's not even necessarily, because it's like, well, what does hard mean versus medium? Like, what actually is the difference here? But I feel like those early, especially Black Ops, it was a measured difference. Your skill actually mattered for the difficulty. For me, granted, I'm not a great video game guy, but for me,
Yeah.
it felt like it was very thought out. And then with the missions, like it felt even in terms of the difficulty. And if
Yeah.
you wanted to just get through with the story, yeah, play it on easy. But if you wanted to have fun, you could jack it all the way up and have a good time.
Yeah.
What about
So-
Soldier of Fortune? Anybody?
Ooh.
I played.
Yeah.
My mom used to play a lot of video games. I used to watch her. She played Soldier of Fortune, I think, two. And that was like one of the first games I ever saw where like people's heads could get like blown off, and I was like,
Dude,
whoa.
I kept my teeth playing that demo over and over and over. Like, ooh, interesting.
Do you guys remember Kane and Lynch?
Yes.
I never played it. But I do.
Oh, you missed out. You missed out on the
Yeah.
biggest scam in video game history,
Really?
my friend. Kane and Lynch 2. The literal end of the game is them leaving with a bag of... Kevin, I think we talked about this in high school. I think you got mad about it in high school. Because I think you
Yeah.
rented it or something and you got super pissed. He
Yeah.
came to school one day and he was super excited about this new Kane and Lynch game because the first one he really liked.
Yeah.
And then the second one came out and he was like, I'm going to go home and I'm going to beat it. Next week came by. By the way, we weren't friends at this point because, boys are weird in high school.
Boys
But
are
I
boys.
remembered boys are boys,
Of course.
I remember him coming back to school and he was like, don't buy this game. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, they literally stole my money. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, at the end of the game, they fly away with your money because it's a 3-hour campaign. And at the end of the game, the joke is they're flying away with your money.
Wow. Really?
They literally Kevin, it's like 3 or 4 hours, right? Like it's nothing.
They were ahead of the time for
Ah,
sure.
is
They.
Kane
It
and
was the
Lynch you're
biggest
talking about,
fucking
or is
troll.
it-
Yeah, Kane
or is
and
it
Lynch.
Mercenaries too.
No, Kane and Lynch. Well, either way, Kane and Lynch too. Like at the end of the game, they fly away on a plane with a bag of money, and the joke is that they got
They
your
s-
shit.
They took your money. I mean, that's pretty much the standard now for AAA gaming, so they were ahead of the
Yeah.
time, I think.
They were very much ahead of the time.
But that's like a great story in the game, even though it pissed the shit out of me. It's still a great
Dude,
story.
like a
and
month
great
solid, he was
twist.
bitching about it.
I mean, you spent, what was it back then, like $50? How much
Oh,
were
yeah.
games back
Yeah,
then?
about 50.
50?
It was 50, and then it was 60 when we were
Now
in
we're in-
college, and then now it's
I-
whatever the hell it is.
I
So-
remember I used to beg my mother to take me to the one pawn shop in town because he had a case of games, and I would give him like 5 games to get one game. And he wouldn't do it for me. 'Cause
Stonks.
My mom had to
Stonks,
like,
baby.
like pawn the games, so she had to give her ID and do the pawn. Like, come on, like, to the pawn, to the pawn.
Sounds like a lot of extra steps just for GameStop butt fucking.
Yeah.
Do you remember
well,
the
I-
absolute fucking stacks you would hand over to GameStop for them to be like,
Then
$5.
calculate it up. They're like, best I can do is $5 store credit.
It's like, this is
It's
a
like,
whole
oh.
Xbox 360. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah, like this is an Xbox 360. I bought this game on launch yesterday. What do you mean $5 fucking dollars?
Yeah.
My dad
My
always
guy,
used to tell me,
what are
like,
you saying?
because I'd be like strapped for cash, and I'd be like, I really need this new game. Like, let's just go to GameStop and trade some games. And my dad was like, we are not doing that. Okay, you need to just. We bought it, and we're just keeping it. They was just, you're not gonna get the money back that you think. And I was like, all right, I guess.
I mean,
He was right. He was
What
right.
about rent?
That-
what
that
about
man- that
renting
man was
games
watching out
and
for
then
you.
trading them in at GameStop.
What'd you say, Kevin?
Renting games from the Blockbuster and then
Dude.
turning around and trading them in at GameStop.
Dude, I was a Redbox junkie. I'd be like hanging out at the Circle K trying to get a Redbox game
Oh yeah.
or a GameFly.
We
I
had
never
a-
had
we-
GameFly, but that's another
we
never
one.
had
got
a
into
red
GameFly.
box. We had a red box outside that GameStop in Germantown, Kevin.
Yeah. Yeah,
I wore that fucking thing out, dude. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that was quite the novel idea.
Did you? So Kevin and I have been flirting with this one game that we both purchased but still haven't downloaded. Did you ever play Spec Ops: The Line?
I did not, unfortunately. Missed that
So
one.
that is this is the nerdiest thing I'm gonna get into. That was the
Here it
first time
comes.
I had ever seen. Fuck you. This is the first time I'd ever seen a mid-length gas system AR in a video game.
Really?
Wow.
So if you Google Spec Ops: The Line, the M4 that they use in the game is not an M4 or carbine length gas system. It's a mid-length gas system, and it looks like they just copy and paste. Because I don't know
Mind
if you guys are. Do you
Jamie,
guys
pull that up.
did you guys remember the the book of the AR-15, like the
talking about-
magazine that they would come out with?
I don't think so.
Mm.
So I'm just the only. like,
Bryce
You're
is
just the only
nerding
one,
out
I
on
guess.
us right now.
So
ex-
they had this magazine that would come out like it was either like quarterly or like biannually or something like that, and it was Guns and Ammo would come out with the book of the AR-15, and they also had the book of the 1911, and the book of the AR-15 one of the years had it was not Chris Costa, it was Travis Haley, and he was pushing all these modern. This was Magpul Dynamics days, and he
the
was
good old
pushing the
days.
BCM, the BCM mid-length gas system. This is after it had kind of caught on, after Armalite had kind of like centralized or standardized the mid-length gas system for civilians for 16, because the mid-length gas system came out specifically for the 16-inch civilian, air quotes, length rifle or barrels, not the 14.5-inch, which was carbine. So that was like the mid 2000s, like early or 2010s, 2009-ish, and they had come out, and there was like this whole feature-length article on BCM and like the brand new MOE mid-length handguards, like the clamshell handguards, and I
think they're so
remember
ugly.
that was. See, I have one of the original. It's somewhere buried. I have an original clamshell mid-length gas system, not M-LOK but MOE Magpul handguard that I had modified, because one of my first rifles was a Smith & Wesson Magpul edition billet lower rifle that I actually had to modify the MOE slots for M-LOK, because I was sick of trying to find the MOE ones because they were always sold out. So I machined it, or I like filed it out so I could put M-LOK attachments on it, which I wish I hadn't, because
Wow.
unmodified would have
plentiful
been
now.
kind of fun.
I mean, I'm
yeah.
just waiting for everybody to come around. It's gonna be like, dude, retro guns. We're cloning like 2010 builds, and it's gonna be like all this MOE furniture and these like
That hurts me.
handguards, the clamshell handguards and flat top receivers.
We're
Oh,
we're slowly circling back to. I'm waiting until we start seeing guys running around with Troy Alpha Rails again, because that's what I remember from like the Magpul Dynamics age, was just Troy Alpha Rails and the Predatobers and the Predatars from LaRue and stuff like that. And I remember, or the Cat 10.5 or the 12-inch guns from like Chris Costa, and like, dude, that was a goated age, my man.
Is that
That and
pre-Japan,
ATI.
Chris Costa?
This is pre-cringe Costa.
Pre-cringe.
What was up with that video?
Pre-cringe
Like he's like
Costa.
going prone on the runway with the.
Well,
with the
so
he's
I
like
guess
in Japan.
It was so he was doing a bunch of LARP stuff for a bunch of like because he's major in like Hong Kong, or he was major in Hong Kong and in Japan for like the airsoft culture, and they really love the Magpul dynamic stuff, and so they flew him out there and had him there, and yeah, it's kind of cringy, but you know what? I think it's pretty cool getting other cultures and other people and other parts of the world interested in that kind of, because if you you remember, what was it, like 4 or 5 years ago, T-Rex Arms brought that Japanese guy out, and so that kind of stuff.
The ones to see if you can shoot a real gun.
And dude, that's super fucking wholesome. Like, I really like that. That's super cool for me. So airsoft and I have a sweet spot for airsoft, or kind of a sweet spot. I have a soft spot for airsoft because growing up in Maryland at the time that I grew up, I don't know about the politics now, but all you could really have were airsoft guns. So I would build and buy airsoft. Kevin knows this. Many dollars were spent on Bryce's airsoft career. I didn't mind playing airsoft, but for me, it was I could modify and build my own stuff, which was super, super fun.
and shoot people with it, which is the most important part.
Bryce says
for legal reasons, that's a joke.
That is a joke for legal reasons. It's airsoft. You can shoot people with it.
Yeah.
I remember seeing like those Magpul airsoft guns and being like, man, because I didn't have one. I had like a basic, M4, and I saw people with like the MOE furniture, and I was like, man, they made it. That's the stuff right there. That's that's peak.
God, I remember being so excited that I was a gun nerd then. The gun nerd hasn't really gone away.
No.
I pretty much. Kevin knew me in high school. I was the only person talking about AK-74s in high school.
Yeah, but I knew what you were talking about because they used to read about them in books that I used to get from the library. My mom
and then we would yell at each other about Spetsnaz knives.
Oh yes, we would.
Deadliest Warrior.
Dude,
you know it.
Listen, okay, we're here to talk about the HK-416.
It's a new rifle that can fire
upside down. That's as a boy, you think firing a rifle upside down is way more important than it is.
I was like, whoa! I'm like, and then I took my airsoft gun and did it. I'm like, wait a minute.
Wait a second.
Yeah, I'm like, hold on. I'm like, hold the phone here.
Something's not kosher here.
Yeah.
All right, so what can we look forward to with your Black Ops video other than Commando? Is it just the gun build?
It's going to be
on that?
Well, I got to do the build. I got to do some kit. I got to do some references. So without giving too much away, that's kind of what we're looking at. I've seen some people build the Commando on Reddit, and I've seen airsoft ones people have made.
Are you going to do the sling?
I am going to do the sling, and I'm going to add some other things. I don't like to speak about things too soon because like it might not go that way. But I'm trying to get some more.
I'd like to see a burn down where you melt the sling, which is how it would happen if you run it that way.
I'm going to definitely be playing around with it for sure, but I'm going to be adding some new parts that I don't think other people have made because I want to get it as close as I can to the original build. So if you look at the gun, look at the handguards and the flat top, it doesn't really look like a traditional M4. So still in the early process, or in the early like steps in making it. Yeah, the early stages of doing it, but I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. So without giving away too much, that's what I'll say.
Okay.
It should be unique, and it should be different from a lot of the other Commandos that I've seen, at least online. So hopefully I'm able to deliver on that.
Will you have an imaginary friend?
Like I said, we're still in the early stages, and I have written some stuff about a imaginary friend who gives you bad advice, and
we can voice for you. By the way.
I will keep that
so
in mind.
you know.
Can you guys do a good Russian accent?
Both our voices laid over one another.
Like both together. That would be awful. Can you imagine how terrible that would sound? Hello, my friend.
Hello.
Well, what's funny is like some of my early content was because I wanted to do like a Black Ops video early on, but I didn't really have like the resources to do it. So like one of my first M16 videos is kind of inspired by Black Ops pretty heavily.
That's your H&R, right?
Yeah. So
see, I know your shit. I know I say back. I do, but I actually followed you.
That's when I was on the MacBook days, so that was way early.
Oh.
So like as I'm like starting to progress and get better at Premiere, I'm starting to like be able to make my vision come to life a little bit more. It's not always perfect and I'm not always getting it across, I don't think, but
Mhm.
you know, I'm hopefully now that I'm rolling out these cool guns like the Commando, and I got some World War II stuff I'm working on. I'm finally
Ooh.
like, okay, cool. I hope I'm getting it across to the audience now a little bit better of what my vision is in my head. So it's just been a fun
Well,
process.
well, thematically, I mean, it's there. The videos are different, but the vibe is super similar, and I think that's what plays well. Even the survival rifle video. I know
Oh, yeah.
Kevin really liked that one.
Love
I
it.
did too.
I
But
really did.
Thank you. I
Kevin
appreciate it.
Kevin called me. He was like,
Ah,
"Bro, did you see the survival rifle?" He was like, "We got to talk about survival rifles." I'm like,
yeah, I was like full
what?
hearted, like survival rifles. Love them.
He would not shut up. I'm like, Kevin, like we can't talk a whole episode about survival rifles.
I mean, we could, you know, maybe next
I was
episode.
prepared. I was totally prepared to do so.
I mean, I don't have a problem with that, but like the first thing I remember, you sent that text. You were like, it didn't do that well, and I'm like, I don't want to like talk about something he didn't want to talk about. Like, I don't know.
I think I don't know. YouTube is a lot of people like blame the algorithm. They're always like, "Oh, the algorithm like screwed me." I always take
I don't know,
responsibility
man.
for it. Like I
I
think
don't
that
necessarily
I-
think that though, because I mean, even if you look at Forgotten Weapons videos,
uh-huh.
I granted I'm in the minority for some of the nerdy stuff, but like the super interesting videos that I find like about like kind of obscure firearms don't do as well as like the like people Google searching based off of a movie or something like
Yeah,
that. I mean,
Yeah,
for
people are
sure.
boring. We've
they are,
messaged about that. Like
unfortunately.
they're super boring. Unless
If I
Garantham
mean
or somebody else has talked about it, like who cares?
if I bought like 4 more PSA rifles and made like a video, like reviewed each one, there are content creators out there that do that, and it's like another 16-inch Freedom PSA, and it's like review it, and I'm
Right.
like, I don't really want to get into that. Like, that's already very
Mm.
saturated. I did my
Yeah.
PSA
Yeah.
video, and like that's another challenge I think when you're stepping into like making YouTube videos, videos, is that everybody has already done everything. If you really think
Mm.
about it, like Grantham has pretty much I mean, he had a FAMAS, he had a
Yep.
AN-94. He's done so much already.
Yeah.
So like you have to approach these videos in a totally new manner, and like
I think
with
it
the,
has to be more technical.
really,
I think it needs to be a more technical or a more geeky, maybe not geeky, but more, well, no, technical. I feel like there's
In
needs to be a
depth.
more technical appreciation, in depth, and I think there needs to be a different angle or a creative angle because his is very plug and play. Like it's very search friendly. You can search an A94, and I guarantee you his is the first one that pops up.
oh yeah, it's
Yeah.
mass
Oh, yeah.
palatable.
But right, exactly. So like the most recent video that I've done, I did on the ACR stock adapter for like an AK, right? Like, but that was me just complaining about how much I hated the ACR stock and that how aesthetically I thought it was really interesting. But that's not
Airsoft
as
stock.
interesting to somebody as somebody going, here's this really cool full auto AK that you can't own. And it's like, okay, well, that's
Yes,
cool. But like
for
in
sure.
my
Like
mind, I want to hear about the technical aspects of stuff, but I'm also not the standard
Very nerdy.
clientele, which Kevin tells me all the time.
You're not standard clientele.
well, I think that's the
Yeah.
balance. I think that's why you've seen Grantham shift from like if you I was watching a lot of him like 2019 to like 2022 black background videos. Like it was
Yep.
technical. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but he himself has said that those videos didn't perform well, even though like a lot of
Right.
people like us say that we like those videos and we want to see those again. He's shifted more to like how deadly is 8.6 or whatever.
Well,
you know,
you gotta try and collect the masses as much as you
Yeah.
don't
Well-
want to collect the masses. You kind of have
How
to a
memeable
degree.
how memeable is a dummy getting his head blown off with a 50 AE? I mean, come on.
Quite,
Yeah.
quite
Like,
memeable.
That's way more that's going to be a lot more friendly to advertisers, well, 2A advertisers and people that are going to want
Yeah.
clicks than or YouTube, which I mean that's a business and you know people can talk shit about how he does things all they want, but that's how he pays for his life, which is totally cool. He makes really good content. It's really interesting. It's fun to watch. You know, now is it as technical as when I want to go to Forgotten Weapons and watch a 2-hour dissertation about M14s. No.
Oh yeah.
Well, I think it's like
Granted,
a shift in mission too.
right?
Like he's openly stated that his mission is to get as many people into the 2A as he can, and like having a breakdown on like, you know, this MP40 variant, the MP38, like Forgotten Weapons would have or something. That's not going to get people the same way that, you know, do breast implants stop bullets. Like people are going to see that and click. Even people that don't even are into guns at all are going to be like, whoa, I got to watch this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, I guess.
So, you know, he'll do back and forth though. Like he'll do the black background videos sometimes, and he'll do that more technical stuff, and then he'll do the like fun stuff. For me personally, I'm just trying to find I think like what I'm just doing right now is building those guns from that we've had nostalgia for, and then talking about the technical aspects of that and why those guns are not historically correct. They may not even function, you know, in a realistic sense. Why they're wrong, but also attaching that nostalgia and
which is exactly what we need.
Yeah.
As a group. I'm always really excited about finding people like you, where it's just this thing that it tickles something that I'm very excited about. It's like that little hyper nerd in me while I'm playing Black Ops. I'm like, well, that wouldn't work. The sling would melt off.
Yeah, you're like, that doesn't make
well, hold on.
sense.
There weren't flat tops. That MP5 is not correct. Like, you know, little shit like that pisses Kevin off when we watch a movie. That's the kind of shit that I want to watch because Kevin hates that. I am the worst person to watch a movie with. I am well aware of this. Kevin has to
purposely pick movies that are ridiculous.
Oh, dude, Sniper. Oh, we have to have an episode.
That's my favorite movie.
With Mark Wahlberg? Or no, that's Shooter.
No.
I forget the guy's name. Huh? Jeez.
Yeah, that
Steven
guy.
Seagal.
Kevin.
No. Yeah. Espo. Bryce actually really likes Steven Seagal. Funny enough.
Yeah.
Steven Seagal, my favorite actor.
He can self-throw people.
He's like a Taekwondo master or something, right?
I love him.
Yeah, with his mind.
Jesus. All right. Well, either way. So we're getting a little off here. So the last thing I'd like to wrap up with, I think I'd like to add this to every little episode we have, is we're gonna have the concealed carry corner. Yeah, we're gonna go back to Bryce's little home turf.
What the hell is the concealed carry corner?
Well, Kevin,
that's this part of the show, the segment.
That's this part of the show.
We're in a little animation.
We're in the corner.
You need like a little.
This is the thing.
We're
here.
Wow.
We're already here.
Put your pants
on. So, with our guests, I'd like to ask what started them to concealed carry. What was their first, and what they carry now?
First concealed carry was a Glock 17, actually, Gen 4 Glock 17. I lived in Maryland at the time, and you couldn't really get a concealed carry license there.
Did you have a golden card?
I don't know what that is.
That was a concealed carry card.
No,
Maryland.
I didn't.
That was like
it's a May issue. So I was in the military there, and they said that you could get it, but I never really attempted. I had like not that much time left, so I figured, you know, wherever I go next, I'm going to carry there. But first gun was a Glock 17. Moved to Arizona, and then I concealed carry that during the summer months in a cheap. It was a Mission First Tactical Glock 17 Kydex holster, and
woof.
You know, not the greatest, wearing like Hawaiian shirts and shorts in the Arizona heat. You know, a full size handgun. Not the greatest, but ended up selling that gun. I actually traded that gun for a T2, which is, I don't know how I feel about that, thinking about it now, but I ended up trading that gun. I bought a Glock 19 Gen 5. So I'm pretty boring. I hate to bore you guys. I don't got like a crazy, like I would carry the SIG P365 XL double with a whatever, blah blah blah. Like just Glock 19 for me. I got the night sights. It came with the factory night sights. I got it on the blue label, so it was pretty. I think I paid like just like $490. I think I ended up getting it for.
So no optic, just iron sights, fucking,
and a TLR 7A. I feel like I haven't earned the right to an optic yet, which sounds weird.
You haven't? Okay.
I want to like shoot more with irons. You know, I feel like I need to shoot some competitions first, like it's Call of Duty, and I need to like earn that right to an optic.
You have to unlock that.
Yeah, I need to unlock
He
it for
has to
myself.
unlock it.
Gotta unlock it.
So
Okay.
I don't know.
So
I mean, they
all right,
say
so
like, go ahead.
no, I was gonna say what kind of holster were you carrying it?
I'm carrying a T-Rex Arms, one of the new holsters, appendix
No,
carry.
is Sidecar 2 or
Yeah, Sidecar 2.0.
Okay.
No attachment.
So you don't
right now.
no. Oh, so you're just no Mad Caddy or Suppressor Caddy or Tourniquet.
Wow.
Yeah, definitely no suppressor caddy. Just the Sidecar 2.0 right now.
Okay.
And it's a
How do
setup
you
I
like
like.
it? How do you like the sidecar?
I realized the pants you wear kind of have to be tailored to it because it's a pretty tight fit. So I realize that now, and I usually when I'm carrying it, appendix, I'm wearing certain jeans and whatnot with it because I usually wear
Right.
jeans. Recently, I have been switching to a fanny pack carry setup,
Ooh.
but that's like more for like the gym or if I'm wearing sweatpants somewhere. I live kind of rurally, so I will go to like local stores.
As a
and I'm
dad,
not trying to
I
wear...
approve. As
Oh,
a
yeah.
dad, I approve of
The
the
fanny
pack.
pack. The fanny pack is in.
Kevin. Oh, I had a fanny pack before this. Kevin will attest that I will have a fanny pack anywhere I can to include video games.
Yeah, he was.
Solid choice.
I love fanny packs.
Dude, they're so useful. It's like a man purse you can wear.
Dude, they really are. Remind me after we end this recording, I got to send you a company that sells really cool fanny packs, just so you see them. They're very fun. No, we're not on fanny packs. I just want to talk about that.
Sometimes I'll wear like
right.
I'll wear the sidecar with the Glock 19, and then I will carry. For a while, I was carrying a tourniquet, and I was carrying an extra magazine inside the fanny pack.
Ooh,
Not going to be like the
that.
most speedy reload, but it gives me a little bit extra stuff to have on me.
Do we dry fire? Do we have a regular practice, or what's your dry fire routine?
So I need to actually admit I need to get better with my dry fire. I'm not as consistent with it, but I do have I think it's an iTarget laser bullet that I will use. So I'll throw that in the gun, and I'll just like point at things in my house in a safe direction, of course. There's no people.
So
there,
my question being, when you press the trigger and the laser goes out, do you see where the laser goes?
Yes, you do.
So why don't you have a red dot?
Ooh, that was a good.
If you end up target focused anyway.
I mean, maybe because I'm poor and I'm trying to build a commando.
Oh, there you go.
Oh yeah. Let's go through your video fucking catalog and we'll talk about being poor. Interesting.
They're all cheap PSA builds, so what can I say?
Oh, whatever.
Brace is the red dot salesman over here.
No, I'm not the red dot salesman, but I am the dry fire practice salesman. I wore out my Glock's 34 slide with dry fire. Actually, I ovaled out my firing pin channel.
Wow.
Yes, yeah.
So
I'm pretty proud of that.
I have my own. I'm very fortunate to be able to shoot where I live, so that's a huge blessing to be able to do that.
That's awesome. Absolutely.
I have a steel target like in my driveway.
Yeah.
I actually had the cops called on me this was when I was making the PSA video because I was shooting in a safe way, like on my property, against backstop, filming that PSA video, and the sheriff's deputy showed up, and they're like, yeah, people are scared and blah 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 blah, and just don't be shooting at people's houses. I'm like, I'm not shooting anybody's house, all right? Like, you need to chill. She's like, where are you shooting? And this cop was like so unintimidating. Like, I don't even know how to describe her to you, but she just did not look put together at all. So I walked out there and I'm like, what are you doing? And she's like, oh, people are complaining about you shooting. I'm like, look, it's my land. I'm doing everything, safe here. And she ended up being cool about it. And then she left, but that's like the only minor annoyance. But outside of that, I mean, other people shoot around me all the time. So I don't really see what the deal is. I don't know why people were trying to rat me out.
That one person that wants to call the cops just because.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, but yeah, so I'm able to, shoot, regularly here. So that's kind of my.
All right. Well, then you're better than me. I have a baby and dry fire. That's all I have.
Hey, dry fire though. If you dry fire a lot, I mean that goes a long way for sure.
Yeah, I'm church of dry fire. That's all I have. I have an hour or 2 hours a day of dry fire. That's basically all I got. Yeah, before I hop on with any time with Kevin, it's an hour or 2 hours of dry fire,
Dude, I should start doing
transitions,
that.
holster work. That's, I mean, Kevin, we've had video chats where it's just like an hour and a half, 2 hours of me doing dry fire.
Really?
Here I drive an hour to a range.
He's a man of sheer will and determination.
Yeah, kind of. Like, I get really obsessive about things.
What about rifle?
No.
Do you do any dry fire with rifle?
It's inclusive. So depending on, rifle, I put less time into than handgun because I have a handgun on me all the time. So I mean, I have Glock 17s and I have full size guns, but I try to get more trigger time on the gun that I carry, Glock 48. And then what's nice is that gun makes me hate myself, and then I put my Glock 17 on, and I'm like, oh, cool. I'm not as terrible as I thought I was. And then I moved to like AR-15s, and I'm like, oh, this is like really easy. It's super fun.
AR-15s are like boop 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 boop.
Well, and now obviously, like, to be proficient at one is super easy, but to have a higher level of proficiency, obviously you have to put a lot of time and effort in. But for me lately, I've been kind of pivoting from rifles to shotgun because I've been more seriously using my A300, and I like guns like revolvers and tube fed shotguns because it kind of feels like driving like a manual, like Miata.
They're like adult
you're a little bit
guns.
more involved. Yeah, like I'm teaching myself how to quad load, not because it makes sense, because I'm not going to be quad loading in my house when I'm pumping buckshot into somebody, but I'm going to be like quad loading because it's cool on the range and it looks good for Instagram and it looks really neat. Or like that video, the slow motion video of me doing the match saver. I was like, this is practical, like I've just gone through 7 or 8 rounds of buckshot. I definitely need to reload. That's practical, right?
Yeah.
So
shotguns are just so much fun because you're constantly doing something and you're constantly.
That's why I like revolvers, though.
Really.
Yeah, so I love, and Kevin knows this, I shot revolvers for USPSA for a while, and I would not shut up about double action only. I shot with a 92D for a while, and that's one of my favorite guns of all time. I love my 92D. I broke many a trigger spring on that 92D. Double action only 92. That is my favorite handgun that I own.
What's your recommendation for somebody who's getting into the revolver game? What would you say?
Ooh, okay. So for like competition carry, what are we doing for it? Like, what are you trying to use for it? Is it fun?
I guess fun, yeah. Like, what is the quintessential revolver to you? You're like, if I could only have one revolver, what would it be? And like, what would you recommend? I don't know if that would overlap. There'd be any overlap there,
okay, so if I could only have one revolver, I would have a Thunder Ranch Special. So the TRR8 from Smith & Wesson. It's an 8-shot 357 Magnum. It has a underbarrel rail and an optics rail, so you can put a red dot or a light on it. And it's an 8-shot Performance Center 357 Magnum, so you could shoot 38 Special out of it, train out of that, and bob the hammer, because I don't believe in single action only, or I don't believe in single action. I believe if you have a revolver, it needs to be double action and nothing else. And if I were to carry a gun for a carry revolver, it would be like a 351 PD, which is a 22 Magnum J-frame. That's, and then if I was being bougie, it'd be a 327 Pugnose, which is, and then I would chop the hammer spur and put some like boot grips on it. So like an 8-shot titanium or cylinder 357 Magnum Performance Center gun.
You sure have been bitten by the wheel gun autism.
I love wheel guns so much. So one of my guilty pleasure guns that I own is I think it's a 1980s J-frame size Taurus revolver, before Taurus was dog shit. Now I guess they've been making full circle, so they might they at some point they were almost good.
Really?
Yeah. If you had listened to one of our podcasts, you would know, sir. You would know.
I just want a Taurus judge, right? I remember in high school, I thought the gun was like so cool.
So, well, I have two guilty pleasure revolvers that I want, and one is an 856 Toro or whatever their 9 or whatever their red dot or optics ready 357 Magnum or 38 special revolver. I want that, and then they make a, I think their executive line is a double action only, nickel plated. Like it's one of their newer ones. After we were talking about Caleb Giddings, and he shot I-Corps and a bunch of competitive stuff for a while. He shot for Colt. He shot competitively for a while, and he works for Taurus now, and kind of turned the brand around to a brand that I would almost recommend. Almost, not quite yet, but the revolvers I would actually. Kevin knows this. I've been drooling over their red dot revolver for a while and their double action only revolver.
He won't shut
for
up
a while.
about it. He will not.
I like
shut
revolvers
up.
a lot. I love revolvers.
He loves revolvers
I
and red
love
dots.
revolvers.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, and he's like, no, revolvers don't need red dots. I'm like, it's a sighting system. What's your problem? But whatever.
So you like
I'm
the
a nerd.
space
Leave me
big
alone.
iron? That's your vibe, kind of. Yeah, the big iron of the future.
Kind of. Well, so do you know what the L comp is?
I do not.
Okay, so there's a single port comp. I think it's a 19-9 or it's one of their 357 Magnum Smith & Wesson. It's a comped revolver, and you can actually get there's a red dot adapter for it, and you can buy acro mounts for this revolver, and it's a comped red dot ready revolver, and I need it in my life.
See, if it were me, I'd probably go with just something classic with revolver because it's, I don't know, it's like lever guns. Are you like a lever gun, like a tactical lever gun kind of guy?
No, I have lever guns, but no tactical.
Mhm.
I have Marlin 4570. I have a couple Winchester. I have a carbine Winchester 3030 or 18 whatever the hell, and then I have the rifle length, and then I have. Yes, I like lever guns. Yeah.
Just do you not
I like
like?
lever guns.
Is it that you don't like the tactical lever guns, or you just don't have one, but you would willingly?
I
to have
think
one?
they are crimes against God.
That's how I feel. Yeah.
Personally, yeah. Costa
Yeah.
did a real disservice to the tactical
Yeah,
to
you
the
put a red dot
lever
on a
gun
revolver.
community.
Whenever I
All
see a
right.
tactical lever gun like on YouTube, I'm like, dude, I'm not watching this video. I don't care about this gun.
Cringe.
So the only as tactical as I get, do you watch Lucky Gunner?
A little
At
bit,
all?
yeah.
Okay, so Lucky Gunner did a thing where like you remember he was doing one with like M1 carbines with like an Ultimac rail.
I don't think I saw that video. No.
So I also really like Lucky Gunner. So he because he does like nerdy shit where it's like, oh, I'm carrying this Smith & Wesson 3rd gen double action only, and I'm like, oh, I love 3rd gen Smith & Wessons that are double action only because I'm a weirdo. and he released one where it was like he put on an inland M1 carbine like an Ultimac rail and a Hollow Sun red dot, and I'm like, I vibe with that. I like that quite a bit. So I'm thinking like a lever action with like a suppressor and maybe just a little red dot on top, but I don't want M-Lock. I want wood stocks. Like I still want
Mm-hmm.
it to be like a red dot's cool, but I don't want it to have M-Lock. I don't need a foregrip. I don't want any of that. Like I don't want any of that nonsense.
Just upgrading
Like,
the parts that really like matter, like the sighting system, like you said, but keeping that classic
I like
look.
Yeah, see, I like the idea that I can make it fun for somebody else. So
Right.
for me, iron sights, I am totally down. Like I have a lever action 22 that I love, and I've shot like my wife's grandfather gave that rifle to us, and it's not a true lever action. It's a falling block, single shot, and it is so fun. It is the most fun thing. It's been spray painted. I mean, that thing it's probably older than I am, but it's so fun just because it's got the same sights, and I don't have to shoot 30 cal out of it because 30-30 is not cheap, and it's not as easily accessible. Yeah, right. But I mean, 22, it's so fun because I get to sit there and shoot with my wife and have a good time, and it's like I get to teach her about the the sighting system. But I also like the idea of getting one of the like 30-30 Marlins and being able to put 38 special through it with like a little red dot so my wife can enjoy it. Just it's more plug and play instead of like, okay, well, you have to put this in front of this, and then you have to focus here, and then you have to worry about this. It's just like put the dot, focus on the target, put the dot here, press trigger, you know. And that's kind of a nice, easy way to get my wife into shooting. And for me, that's super important because I love when we're into the same things. I got into Grey's Anatomy for her, and I love that she's getting into shooting for me. So if I can make
She's
it more
getting
fun
into
for her,
autistic
you know.
revolvers now.
Yeah, she is.
Oh, I'll get her there. Don't you worry. She hey man, she has a Beretta Cheetah now because, you know, she's a woman of
likes the-
taste. So, but all right, boys. Well, I think that is a good place to stop this. Espo, I'm so happy. Thank you so much for having
Of course. Thank you
or
for having me.
taking the time and coming on. And Kevin, is there anything you'd like to end on? Any kind of silly nonsense?
Silly nonsense. Nope. Not that I can think of.
Do we have any bloopers we want to have or
bloopers? Bloopers?
We haven't. We don't have anything that I've been able to like earmark as. Oh, that was retarded enough to put in a blooper.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, you'll learn this, but after you do podcasts from Bryce, everything and anything can be used as something against you later on.
This is leverage down the line.
He
baby.
will do it. So I might personally have taught myself to be professional as humanly possible.
Dude, every time we
You
get
have an
on the
image to
Discord,
maintain.
he's like, and hopefully nobody's recording this. And I'm like, I'm not. What? No.
Oh, I don't trust him.
It's like
I
that
don't.
meme where it's like some guy in jail, and it's like when the group chat gets leaked. It's like, or like the scene from Wolf of Wall Street when everyone's getting busted, and it's like POV, they leak the group chat.
Yeah.
Oh man, I wish I had a Countach though.
A Countach?
Some lewds in a Countach.
Yeah. God, Need for Speed.
All right. Well, thank you so much for tuning into the Carry Handle podcast. Hopefully you enjoyed this. We absolutely loved having Espo on, and this will not be the last time if he'll
It will not be
humor us in the future.
Yay.
Love it. All right, boys. Well, thank you so much, and hope to see you again.
Adios.
See you.
Bye.